The Employees Provident Fund, or the EPF, the life savings of the private sector employees in this country, are accessible upon retirement. Now, in the past decade, allegations of mismanagement of the vital EPF have been rife, and Labour Minister W.D.J. Senivaratne had this to say on the loss incurred by the EPF due to the alleged bond scam.
It is clear that the EPF has incurred losses for some time now due to the investment of EPF funds in certain sectors. First, the EPF was used to purchase shares in certain companies. The money invested in some of these companies has been lost today. It is also now clear that the EPF suffered a loss of 11.5 billion rupees as a result of the recent bond incident. This was stated by a central bank official who testified before the Presidential Commission recently. Given that such a large sum of money has been lost to the EPF, we must consider this issue immediately. What I have noticed so far is that while the EPF is governed by the Monetary Board of the Central Bank, there isn't a single representative of the Labour Department. Trade union leaders constantly submit shortcomings with the management of the EPF to the Labour Department. Officials at the Labour Department are constantly vigilant on these issues. So I have taken steps to remind the government to include a representative of the Labour Department as a member of the Monetary Board. Initially, we were allowed to invest these funds in treasury bills. Recently, investing funds in the stock exchange was allowed. When considering the position of some of the companies that funds were invested in, we can see that losses have been incurred. We must consider all these factors in the future and draft a plan to securely administer the Provident Fund. It was recently reported that an internal investigation at the Central Bank had exposed a loss of about 10 billion rupees incurred by the Employees Provident Fund. Several individuals who testified before the Presidential Commission of Inquiry noted that transactions in the bond market by the EPF could result in losses.
මහබැංකු බැඳුම්කර වංචාවේදී අර්ථසාධක අරමුදලට සිද්ධ වෙච්ච අලාභ පිළිබඳ වාර්තා දෙකක් මේ වෙනට එළියට අවිලා තියෙනවා.
There are two reports which have come to light regarding losses suffered by the EPF due to the bond scam. According to a report from September 2016, a loss of 11.9 billion rupees was incurred. Another report was presented to the Monetary Board on the 23rd of March 2017. This report noted that a loss of 9.6 billion rupees had been incurred. According to both these reports, a total of 21.5 billion rupees has been lost. In the 21 months ending on the 30th of September 2016, Perpetual Treasuries had made a profit of 12,988 million rupees. This is the most serious harm that has been caused to the EPF. During the Mahinda Rajapaksa regime, the same Arjun Aloysius sold shares in a chicken feed company that he had purchased for 15 rupees each to the EPF at a price of 268 rupees each. Together, Arjun Aloysius and Arjuna Mahendran are now laundering the money they made from the bond scam and from the EPF. They are printing newspapers, they are buying shares in banks, they have purchased shares in state banks. Not only that, they have made a huge investment in the eastern province with a major liquor manufacturer. In the near future, they will say that all the money stolen by Perpetual Treasuries has been invested by various companies. When the time comes to catch the rogues, if the rogues flee, then all that will be left are the companies. Some of these companies may be entirely owned by them, some may be not. We call on the current governor of the Central Bank, the Monetary Board and the Labour Minister to immediately intervene with the Cabinet and the government to stop them from using this stolen money. Freeze all their accounts. That money belongs to the working people of this country. Give that money back to the working people. Take steps to return these funds to the EPF.
EPF ගිණුමේ මුදල් වලට යම්කිසි හානියක් පාඩුවක්.
Evidence has been submitted that a loss has been caused to the EPF through the bond scam. When there is such evidence, these individuals should be brought before court and held accountable. There is talk in society now that they have invested these funds in distilleries, shares in banks and shares in media businesses. In a society where there is rule of law, persons who should be defendants cannot be allowed to roam freely in this way without facing any kind of action.
සමාජයක සිදුව යුද්ධයක් කියලා.
ඒ මුදල් අවභාවිතය කිරීම සම්බන්ධව ඒ මුදල්
The individuals responsible for these funds, the persons who have misused these funds, are criminally accountable. The officials who acted to invest these funds in a manner that caused losses to the state are responsible for this. Handing over these funds to persons without following procedures established by the central bank is a crime. There is clearly a basis in public property law to file a case in relation to this offence. However, it must be done following a proper investigation. The government cannot say that the funds have been misused by a group of officials and that it cannot be recovered.